Good evening, good evening. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to this show. We've got the North London podcast back. Sean can't be with us tonight. We've had to move loads of times around and he's busy and we're busy and just weren't going to work. But he's been with us the last few times. Big up to Deji who come on last time. Henry's back in the building. What are you saying, bro?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. We launched merch. If you can't see what Angie's doing, I'll stand up. You can something off to the Emirates. So, yeah, I'm all good, mate. Disappointed about the Everton result, but yeah, we're back.
And you boys he was so confident, like he was giving it large. Yeah, we're gonna win it. We're gonna win it. We're gonna win it. Goodison Park. I did say, Dan, it wouldn't be easy. I did say that, don't underestimate that, like,
Have you got any top his left? You got any top his left, Lee, or?
Still got to be top of your hill.
We had a Tottenham.
Listen, I'm going to say now, I love Henry. I've got to say, he's one of my favourite Spurs fans, so I'm not going to go too bad.
Yeah, big up, man. Big up.
But listen,
I do love Henry as well. That was funny. There was a geezer giving it in the chat, and he just had a topic. It was class. I didn't quite know where he was going with it until it happened, but yeah, it was quite funny.
Just before we start, Chelsea are messing us both up and making us have a fixture back up them Chelsea and their success in cups. You know what I mean? As Henry has just alluded to me, like, you know what I mean? They've cancelled their game in the league on that Friday night because they're involved in the League Cup final, aren't they? Like, you know, and if Chelsea now beat Leeds, which they're certainly favourites to do, Dan, that means we're going to have a 2-week end gap. You know what I mean? We'll play on the Porto game on the Tuesday, I think it is, on the Tuesday, and then we won't play until Easter Sunday against Manchester City.
We play Wolves on the 17th of February, and then our next game's, I think, the 3rd of March.
Bloody, like, you know what I mean?
Crazy, isn't it?
So you've got another winter break coming up. We've already had a winter break, and we're like, the chances are, I'm going to be really honest, Chelsea are going to beat Leeds at home, aren't they? So we're looking at another weekend off, like, you know.
I think Chelsea genuinely haven't got a free weekend now until, because they've got Palace on Monday, then they've got City, then they've got the cup final, then 3 days later they've got Leeds, then Brentford, Newcastle, Arsenal. I don't think they've got a free weekend until April, which means if they put our game in April, Tottenham will have probably one of the most horrible Aprils you've seen, with West Ham, which we know they always turn up, Arsenal, Man City, Newcastle and Chelsea all in 1 month.
Bloody hell, like, you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? I'm looking at it like from our point of view as well, Dan, just looking at the fixtures. I'm getting above myself here. So, like, as I say, like, getting above, if Arsenal were to get to the Champions League semi-finals, which could happen, that Tottenham game, they're talking about the Wednesday putting the Chelsea game in, that Tottenham game will have to be a Saturday game, and they ain't going to put it on at 5:30 or 3 o'clock with no count. That's going to be a 12:30 kickoff. So, you know, like, so what we would go is Chelsea at home, Tottenham away, Champions League semi-final. Like, Jesus Christ, you know what I mean? So, and with our thinning squad, it's about as thinning as my hair, that squad, like, you know what I mean? So it is a worry, that is, isn't it? Like, you know, but there you go. But listen,
long way to go, mate. Long way to go.
Long way to go. Long way to think. Like, one game at a time, they say. One game at a time.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Let's start with Spurs, Henry, because obviously it was disappointing for you last minute against Everton at Goodison Park. Long ball stuff with Dietz. Vicario didn't look too comfortable, and then obviously Braithwaite. I mean, he's an absolute giant, by the way. I like him. He's a good player. He puts it in, and I don't know. Did you feel like that was deserved? Do you feel like Tottenham should have been walking away there with more, or was that a fair result for you in the end? What was your thoughts for that one, bro?
I mean, Goodison Park's always a tough place to go. Doesn't matter who's the manager. And Sean Dyche kind of went back to his Burnley roots of kind of playing the long ball when they had the likes of Barnes and other strikers and Chris Wood and that. The thing for me, the first half, I don't think we were on it at all. I think Everton probably deserved something that first half. Richarlison, took both his goals very well. Fair play to him. He's got 10 in the league now. I think he's got 9 in his last 7. And he's putting a lot of the criticism. He's scoring goals at the moment. So second half we improved, but what's most worrying for me is two things stood out for me that game, which I'm with a couple of question marks on. One, we're 2-1 up in the 85th minute. This is immediately like not a red flag. I don't want to say a blue card because that's what's coming. We'll say an orange flag. You're right in the 85th minute. Tottenham have now got a mindset where they'd rather go and get a third than defend the lead. Now, that's great when you are a Manchester City and you've got an Arsenal full of players and you can bring on a Doku or a Grealish. We don't have a bench at the moment filled with attacking gems. What we do have, though, is a bench with Emerson Royale on it and Radu Dragusin. Now, Dragusin, statistically, I think is the third best centre-back in Europe in the air. What do Everton have? An aerially dominant striker in Dominic Calvert-Lewin. In the 85th minute, I'd be sitting there thinking, if we bring on Royale and we bring on Dragusin and maybe take off a forward and drop one of the forwards deeper, we defend that lead like a lot of players do. If that's Unai Emery or Jurgen Klopp or Mikel Arteta, you win that game 2-1. And I'm not saying they're better managers than Ange or whatever, but Ange's philosophy and tactics are go for the jugular from minute 1 to minute 90. And that's great. And that might be great 2 or 3 years down the line when we've got players who are used to this system, when we've got 2 or 3 more transfer windows under our belt, so we can bring off an Arsenal full of players. But we're bringing on Brian Hill in the 89th minute when I've seen more meat on a chip than this guy. He's the sort of geezer that gets that shoulder barged by the wind. He's like Howard Wolowitz, whatever his name is, the Big Bang Theory with a haircut. He can't beat anyone in a 50-50. Why bring on a winger in the 89th minute when you're winning 2-1? That for me is like a big question mark. The second question mark is set pieces. Manchester City, Vicario butchers the first. There's no one on that front post. Old school football used to be get someone who's half decent in the air on the front post, because if the corner's crap, he heads it out. The team pushes out, you win the ball back. It's 2 corners back-to-back games where we look absolutely horrendous from corners. Absolutely horrendous. And we're actually, I think we're the 3rd tallest team in the league. But we don't have a centre-back. We don't have a centre-back that's starting that can win a header. Romero can't win a header. He's going to get bullied by Calvert-Lewin. Van der Ven is absolutely class at everything other than his heading ability. I don't know how we don't come away with 3 points there. The Man City game, we were poor from minute 1 to minute 90. We showed no fight, no passion, no desire. We were awful. But that Everton game, come on now. We can't hold on to a lead for love nor money in that game. We looked worried as soon as the crowd started getting on our back. And that, for me, when you throw in the set pieces, the substitutions, it's 2 points drop. We should have had 3 points, and we should have been level with Villa. Now they've got the 2-point swing over the top 4. They're out of the FA Cup. They're playing one game a week until the Conference League starts. I don't know. What do you guys make of it?
I just felt like you were fairly comfortable, and then it looked as if it had all gone wrong. I don't know who deserved that game in terms of 3 points, but I saw the majority of it. And I mean, obviously, I thought it was quite funny the way it ended, being a gooner. But I looked at it and thought maybe Tottenham are just missing a couple of players now. And I've always said that I thought your squad was weak in terms of the square depth. I think your first 11 is actually pretty decent, if I'm honest. But with Son coming back, with Basuma coming back, with Sarr as well, is it? Is it Pape Sarr? Pap Sarr?
Yeah, Sarr's back now. He'll probably start.
He's coming back as well. You need to get them players back now for me. But I don't know. I think Richarlison, to be fair to him, has looked all right this season. I don't think he's been outstanding.
Bearing in mind, we haven't had anyone in that front line since Son's been out step up.
No, and he's been able to at least do it. The one that has kind of disappeared is Kulusevski, if I'm honest. I don't really see what he's doing at the moment. He's certainly not output.
It's a problem, mate. It's a big problem, that right-hand side.
Yeah. And that Johnson kid, I'm sorry, that weren't a good
side. Most expensive BJ of all time, isn't it? 47.5 million quid. It's an absolute joke, really, isn't it? But yeah, what's even worse is it doesn't matter. The left side picks itself in Son, and the striker will now pick himself in Richarlison. But it's kind of like now, whoever's on the better form will start on the right-hand side. Kulusevski 1 minute is scoring last-minute headers against Ake, against Man City. The next minute, he's dropping disaster classes. Brendan Johnson has only showed 2 games this season of actually doing wing play, running, at your fullback. He's one of the fastest players in the league, but he's slow with the ball. Okay, so what do? You play him in behind, like Son. You play the ball all over the top, like Bruno Fernandes does for Rashford. But we're not doing that. He comes short, turns around, looks at the fullback, and then passes it back to Porro. That's why in our system now we've kind of got like a 6-man midfield because Porro's in there, Udogi's in there. You got the double pivot of Bentancur and Sarr, and then Maddison, which is why we're so easy to counter. If any manager figures, if we play Arsenal and all of us at home, the crowd will be on your backs. First 15 minutes, it'll be like, let's try and manage the crowd, frustrate them. And then around the 20th minute, you start to play your football. If Arteta sees that early on, that we've got 2 of our fullbacks in midfield, and all you're going to be thinking is Odegaard, aim for Martinelli. He's the fastest player in your team. He will be so much. He could build a house out there. There's that much space, and he'll get in behind. Saka's not as fast as Martinelli, but he's more like as a wide forward. Martinelli will be hugging that touchline, play a ball in behind, and it's curtains. And that's the problem with this system. We score so many goals. I think we've scored 14. I think we've scored more goals than you lot. And this is a team that's lost Harry Kane. But look at the difference in the teams. Your defense is as solid as it's ever been, right? And our defense is shipping goals galore because we're so easy to counter. I personally think you drop the defensive line 10 yards, so there's less space in behind. We haven't exactly got slow centre backs in Van der Ven and Romero, have we? But we're so easy to counter. Whereas you
massive
lot,
high line, isn't it? Like Emery and Ange.
the line's flipping hard in troops. It's that high. Like, it's a flipping joke, mate.
Lee, what do you see with all this, like Tottenham?
Well, listen, I did call it a draw, and I think football's a brutal game, particularly in the Premier League, because I've been saying that the best signing that Spurs have had was Vicario in goal, and obviously like Man City see a weakness in him, and now everybody's doing it, like, you know what I mean. So he's going to have to strengthen up on that. There, I felt that they targeted that. And listen, the one thing I think that. And look, listen, Everton have done it to us the season before with a set piece. They can get you on a set piece. They obviously work them very, very well and get it. I was playing for my vets team, White Rodents. Going to give a big shout out, like, because when I get over there, like Dougie and Franklin and John, they're all giving it large. You know what I mean? We're 1-0 up. We're 1-0 up. We're large. Just as we're going to kick off, like, we're 2-1, Richarlison, like. And I actually said to him, like, mucking about, don't worry about that. Everton are scoring the last minute. And old Dougie comes up to me, like, right, and he goes, yeah, you got a curse, haven't you? Like, Everton scored. And I said, Dougie, don't wind me up, mate. I know you've won, you cocky little Spurs, man. Go away. He went, no, honestly, it's 2-2, like. I said, no. Like, Ian, who's a Spurs fan, said, no, it's right. You know what I mean? I said, look, just go away. I don't want to know, like, you know what I mean, right? You're winding me up. And then one of the Arsenal boys come up and he was 2-2. I get you there. And it started off to be a fantastic weekend then, because that happened. And listen, the old Spurs, and I do love them. Dougie, I love you. I love Franklin, love them and all that. In the end, like, they were turning around afterwards and going, well, that's 1 point, judges, that's 1 point nearer than you. We're getting 1 point nearer than you because you ain't getting nothing. You ain't getting nothing Sunday. So we look at this as a point gained on you. 1 point nearer. We're 1 point nearer than you, like, Oh, yeah, okay. I went, well, yeah, fair enough.
Last night on my show, Deji went to me, I'm glad Arsenal won that because now we're closer to Liverpool.
Yeah. Mate,
and I was like, wow, like, this is the way he is. Like, I love Deji.
Shameless, you know what I mean? Like, he was giving it large, saying, like,
yeah, Deji was like,
Deji laughing about Jorginho, laughing about when we were saying that Arsenal were going to win this. When I said Arsenal was going to win this game, but anyway, predicted that right. And listen, I watched the highlights of it all. That, if I'm going to be really honest, I only see the highlights. But what I see of the highlights, I think that Tottenham should have won. They had the chances to win the game, bury it, and they didn't. But as we all know, if you don't take your chances against a team like Everton, if you don't kill them off, they're always likely to bite back at you, like, And listen, I think at the end of it, Spurs will look at it as it's a good point because it's a difficult place to go. But if you're going to be pushing for the title, which is what Spurs were alluding to before this game, that they were still in the title race, I think that maybe that defeat now, that draw has just put it a little bit out of them, particularly not because Arsenal and Liverpool had to play each other and one loss and all that. I think that if you're giving, I don't know how many points it is now, City are in front. Is it 5 points with a game in hand? If they win that game in hand, they go 8 points clear. I'm not sure.
We're not winning a title, let's be honest. Get Champions League in the first season.
Yeah, and I think that's how you've got to look at it. Like, you know what I mean? Realistically, I'm backing Tottenham to get into the top 4. I think that Villa are starting to shake a little bit, like, you know, and I think that Tottenham will still have got a very, very nice run of fixtures at this moment in time, which, you know, I think their toughest one in the next few is Brighton at home, which I think that they're at home. I think that they come through. But I think
those on the 10th though will be that'll be a massive game at Villa Park.
Is that Villa Park? Yeah.
We haven't beaten Villa in 3 games. They've done us 3 times on the trot.
That's a massive game. That's
massive. When is that, on the 10th of?
Yeah. So we've got Brighton on the 10th of Feb, Wolves on the 17th of Feb. Then we have to wait 2 weeks. We play 16 days till we play Palace on the 2nd, and we haven't got a game for about 9 days again.
And then
in April we've got a game like every 48 hours by the look of it.
So realistically, when you go to Villa Park, I do expect Spurs then to beat. They're at home to Wolves, aren't they? So they're home in the next 2 games.
We've got 3 home games on the bounce.
3 home games on the bounce. Oh yeah, because the Chelsea one would have been in between.
That for me should be 9 points.
9 points. So you're going to that game with 9 points. So. Yeah, and then that'd be an interesting game. But I do see Spurs now picking up 9 points, which will be a big boost to get into the top 4. Anything other than that, I think that that'd be disappointing for Tottenham. But listen, I think that get those 9 points, and then I think you'd look at the game against Everton and go, do you know what? Like, I think that. That'd be okay, like, you know what I mean, from that point of view. I think you'd be all right.
Henry, I was going to bring this up. Big up Aaron. Says, Henry, would Spurs getting back to playing good football and finishing in the top 5 be a decent season for you? Obviously, out of the cups, I think top 5's done. I said that on my show. Said it earlier on Race for Europe show. I said, look, I think that Man City, Arsenal and Liverpool and Spurs and Villa, I think it's done. I don't see United or Newcastle getting into that top 5. So would you have taken that at the start of the season if I said to you, you're tracking the Champions League, you're playing better football under Postecoglou, you're in the Champions League next season, you go and buy in the summer again? Would you have actually said that was all right season? Because I don't think that's a shocking season.
No, I would have taken that. It's disappointing to go out of the cups early.
Yeah,
always. Man City, I mean, look, they're the best team in the world, but I wasn't disappointed in the result. I was disappointed in the performance. We showed absolutely, you know, no fight going forward. Defensively, we were all right, but no. I mean, we had 1 shot the entire game. And this is a team that's beaten Man City under Nuno. But the one that's the big kick in the teeth is going out away to Fulham in the 2nd round of the EFL Cup on penalties. That, for me, is a massive kick in the teeth. That all being said, though, I mean, Klopp in his first season, he finished 8th. Arteta in his season, he finished 8th. If he gets in the top 4, and now that it looks like there's a plan with the new director of football from Villa, Langer, and Scott Munn, who's taken over footballing decisions. It actually looks like the signings are making are relatively good. We were the most active club in January. If we get the Champions League money and go and get a couple of players in the summer, I think we're on the right track. So 4th, considering losing Harry Kane, which I don't care what anyone says, he's still the best number 9 on the planet. I know if you put Harry Kane in that City team, he scores just as many goals as Ireland. But losing him, who scored 30 goals on his own last year in a team that had nothing, we've sprinkled a little bit of fairy dust with Maddison and Van der Ven and a few others, and we're scoring a lot of goals. If we get 4th, don't think we'll get 3rd because I think the top 3's done. But 4th in his first season will be a very, very good season. It would then be about, because I've been asking content creators, I mean, TikTok's a very clapped platform. You get 9-year-olds insulting you all day long. But I've been asking people on Twitter and YouTube this question. And it's, if Liverpool, they will lose Klopp at the end of the season, right? And potentially Mohamed Salah. And then you've got Man City with their court case, which we don't know. Man United have got new ownership. Chelsea have got new ownership. So there's a few question marks there in terms of what's going to happen. Poch might not be there. Out of the pack, Tottenham and Arsenal should be the ones that are going for it now. Like Arsenal should be the team out of everyone that are now saying, look, we've been in title races, right? And you are in another one. Let's go and win it. Because if Man City, let's say hypothetically, gets slapped with a 10-point deduction, that puts Arsenal in the driving seat. Because Liverpool, we don't know. Xabi Alonso could come in and break the door off the injuries and go on a 25-game run like he has with Leverkusen. But Tottenham should be looking at now saying, hang on, Champions League in the first season, we need to break out of this pack of the Man Uniteds, of the Chelseas, of the Villas, of the Brightons, of the teams that have hovered in around Europe and go for it. Because, you know, we've scored the second most amount of goals and we've barely even had a front line all season. 1 minute it's Kulu, then it's Johnson, then it's Timo Werner, then it's Brian Hill. You boys have had practically the same front three. It picks itself, Martinelli, Saka and Jesus. Same as Liverpool. We've had to chop and change things. We've had like God knows how many injuries with Van der Ven and Romero. And, you know, and I'm not making excuses because injuries are part of the game, but we should be sitting there now saying, let's break out of this pack. Like, let's be real, as Arsenal fans, you guys should be saying, right, if we don't win the league next season, we've got to win it, isn't it? We've got to win the league next season. Knowing all these possible questions, and you're the most settled squad, right? Out of the teams that are pushing, you've got to be sitting there going, let's do it now. Like, I don't know what you guys think.
Well, listen, I want to do it this season. I don't know that we will, but I want to do it this season. I think it's interesting what you say about the up in the air stuff because football changes so quickly. Like Chelsea, they look a mess. I know they won last night and they played really well, I thought, but they look a mess, right? Manchester United still look a mess. Newcastle, I never quite know what's happening with them because they've got all the money sitting there, but they can't spend it this window, but they're going to spend big in the summer. So they could be a different outfit next season, but I don't think they're ever going to be looking for the title next season. Manchester City are going to be there or thereabouts, even if they do get the points deduction. If I'm Spurs, I'm looking at this season thinking Champions League football, if we didn't win a trophy, which we get bantered about, but you go and add 4 or 5 players again in the summer, which is, let's be real, we're not a bad squad you've got. It's not shambles. Yeah, you don't look at Tottenham and think, Christ, I can't even put an 11 together here. Like, you've got a good 11. You've probably got 13, 14 players at the club. You need 20. So if you go and get 5 really good signings that take you to the next level, that are all going to go in either get in your first team or compete with that, then there's nothing to say that Tottenham can't have a good season under Ange Postecoglou. There really ain't. And
plus
you know,
the wage bill shrunk as well. Like Dyer's gone, Lloris has gone, Ndombele.
and they were all trash. All that, you needed to get rid of that trash. You know, that was all done. You know what I mean? That was all dead wood, man. So I don't know, Lee. What do you think? You think Tottenham should be looking up or what? I don't know.
It's a difficult one because you can all say, you know, like, you know, you have a good season. All right, we need to kick on and all that. Like, you know, like Newcastle got to the top 4 last season. It hasn't quite kicked on from this season. Like, you know, I think it'd be different for Spurs, but because they've got a little bit more leeway in the transfers. Where
our FFP as well, like our FFP is so low, we can afford.
Yeah, they can do. They're looking to change that now, and I don't know if that'll come in for next year or whatever. Like, but what I see with, I do see Newcastle going big with a few next season. I think that their Champions League money, even though it weren't great, they've still got that little bit there, and I think that Manchester United will get better. I certainly looking at Chelsea. If Chelsea can add a striker to their, I think a striker can cover up 1,000 sins. You know what I mean? Like, I think that there are times where Chelsea probably haven't played that well, but they've created a few chances and missed them and all that. Like, if they get a striker in and when they're not playing that well, they'll still be 2-0 up. You know, we've done it ourselves. You know, and we think, well, how come we're 2-0 up here? It's because we've got Harry Kane or we've got Henry or someone like that, you know, scoring the goals for us. So I'm going to say, like, it will be tough. Look, let's hope and pray that something's sorted out with Man City, because this is, you know, I get what Everton fans are getting the ump with, like, and saying they're being used as a guinea pig. I understand that, you know. So let's see what happens with Everton before we test the waters with the bigger fish to fry, like, so to speak. So listen, I think it needs to be all sorted out. I think Manchester United maybe will have a bit of money. I see that they're probably 2 or 3 players away from really challenging, and so it'll be interesting next season. But I think Spurs are on the right page as we speak. I think that Ange will have to change things. I know, like, keep saying about game things and all that, his philosophy and all that, like. there are times when you have to just see out a game. And I think that's something that they're going to look to do. I think Spurs fans at this moment accept it because of what's been going on over the last couple of years. But I think if you get yourselves into winning positions and you're chasing trophies and whatever, and you're going for it and you end up losing, dropping points, eventually there will be a little bit of confrontation about that with the Spurs fans. But I think at the moment Spurs are on a good roll. And listen, I think that they're dangerous. They are dangerous. They've got players that can score at any given time. And I do think that Ange does change it slightly. For instance, when Arsenal come to town, I don't think you go gung-ho against Arsenal all the way, because he didn't against Manchester City. He sat in there and hoped to try and do different things.
He did give it like go it.
Yeah, he did go for the Emirates, but he didn't go as full throttle and all that. And I think that he understood why and whatever. Like, so I don't think that he should be criticised too much for his tactics. And I think that people have started to get onto those tactics a little bit. Like I think he's shrewd enough to know when and when not to. So I think that at the end of the day, Spurs are in a very good position. I think it was, I think a Chelsea fan was saying something about does fifth mean that you can get into Champions League? I don't think it can this year with Newcastle, Man United going out early doors. I know that's put us under a little bit of a
unless
pump.
One of the English teams win it.
Yeah. So that'd be great if you
really.
are.
I still think we'll be all right, won't we?
No, I think it's touch and go at the minute, Dan.
Really?
Would it be great if Spurs were in fifth and we're in the Champions League final?
I think we're 17 points behind. I think Germany are doing the best. No, Spain are doing the best, aren't they? No, they're not. I think it's Germany. Germany are doing the best in terms of their teams in Europe.
But unless we win it, so it's out of us and Man City, and if one of them wins it, But can you imagine if it's an Arsenal get to the final and Spurs are in fifth, Dan? You know what I mean? I don't know what the old Spurs fans will be thinking, So
I'd be
would you want us to win it, Henry?
No.
They'd be going Europa League all day. They'll give me that Europa League. Give me the Europa League anytime. Because I know that I would certainly be going. Put me in the Europa League. I'll take it straight away. So
the thing is with Europe though, with us, I don't think we've got a big enough squad to do Thursday, Sunday.
But you're add to that squad. Henry.
But even if we had 3 or 4 players in the summer, it's still we're struggling. Like there's points in games where we're 60 minutes in and we're absolutely burnt out because of how high the intensity is in the system.
You can only have 20 players. Is it 25 players anyway? You know what I mean? So the Spurs would be all right on that.
If you had 5 signings, let's say, what positions do you need, Henry?
We need a holding midfield player without a doubt. Too many players of similar profiles: Højbjerg, Bissouma, Bentancur. We need someone to sit in. What we needed was Partey from 2 or 3 years ago, or Declan Rice now. We also need a striker. Richarlison, if he gets an injury, can't expect Son to do 38 games a season, plus Europe, plus FA Cup and League Cup when he's 32. So we need a striker. I also think we need a winger. Too many question marks on that right-hand side. So that's 3. And I'd bring in a number 8 and a fullback, if that was the 5.
I agree with all of them. I think that, I think fullback is a real one. I think Porro and Odogi have been two of the better ones in the league. I can't even lie. I think they've been really impressive. But after that, it's naff, man. It's like back to Emerson Royale and Ben Davies, isn't it? Or whatever. I don't even know what it is. So
Ben Davies done well.
Ben Davies is a backup centre back now. Though.
He's not really a left back now, is he?
The problem is for that role, Udogi's up and down. Like Ben Davies is going to he'll be shot by half time.
What you got to do is get what Arsenal have done, get a player in that can play a couple of positions. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that does help. You know what I mean? Like, and London helps, and also like a free. I think it's a good thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like free passes to the go-karting track. You know what I mean? That's a good little bonus for the family, isn't it? Like, you know what I mean? To get
I can't wait for you boys to start race.
Set of blue and white gloves as you go around, so all those things help, like, you know what I mean? Like, go.
Don't worry, we'll have Hamilton.
Come on, kids, one of our bonuses, we can go-karting today, like, meow. There you go, like, you know what I mean?
Mate, it's mad, isn't it? Henry, let's move to Arsenal, bruv. What have you made of us last couple of games since coming back from Dubai? Obviously, 9 points out of 9. Palace 5-0. Forest, we beat them 2-1, but it was fairly comfortable until the last couple of minutes where we made yet another mistake and made it nervy. And then Liverpool, which I thought we were class at, mate. Have you seen a change of Arsenal in the last three, or is it a bit same old to you?
No, there's definitely a change. I think 1,000,000% there's a change. That Palace game, clinical. Martinelli. I think did he come off the bench and get a brace? He didn't start, did he? Come off the bench, gets a brace. I mean, some people would say Palace had a few chances, a few shots at goal, but I didn't feel that Palace were ever a threat, and I think you were in complete control from majority of that game. A couple of hiccups at Nottingham Forest. You're probably a bit nervy at the end, after that they got the goal from Awonyi, was it? And then a couple of nervy moments, but you dealt with it. But the most impressive performance of the season by a country mile was that Liverpool game. And the fact that you've reduced Manchester City and Liverpool to only having one shot on target throughout both of those games just shows how strong you are defensively. I don't know what happened for Liverpool's goal. It was completely against the run of play. You were dominating, and then a hiccup between the goalkeeper and both centre-backs. But there's two performances in that game that really were mustard. Was Jorginho, the way he was passing the ball, the way he was controlling things. It's kind of like he rewound the clock 5 years to back. Was he at Napoli before that, where he was really pulling the strings?
Yeah.
And the other performance was, which I know, which is no doubt at all. I actually thought, it wasn't Zinchenko. No, was it Saliba? One of the centre backs. I can't remember which one, had a blinding game. But I mean, Saliba's class anyway. But for you boys, you had to win that game. If you would have lost that game, you'd have been 8 points behind Liverpool. Big question marks about, is Arteta the right man? 8 points behind Liverpool. We all know what the media can be like. But the fact that you've won that and you've beaten both of your title challenges at home, and you look at your run of games now, I mean, you've got West Ham away. Let's be honest. I know they've beaten you twice this season. I don't think they'll beat you again. You then got Burnley away. If you take away the Champions League, you got Newcastle at home, Sheffield United away, Brentford at home. You should now go on a run of games and say to the other two up north, Liverpool and City, we mean business. Coming back from Dubai, before you went there, you had a few wobbles. A couple of games didn't go your way. You didn't get the right result. You've come back. You've got 9 points out of 9. You've had I'd say 2.5 very, very good performances, because I do think at the very last minute, I did think you were going to draw against Forest. But you've had 2, let's say 3 very, very comfortable performances, and you've just beaten Liverpool, which all the rival fans were saying, they're going to come and do you. They've already done you in the cup. They're going to do you. They're going to tuck you up. And then to every single person, you've gone, hang on, we're only 2 points behind you lot. I mean, I know I give Arsenal fans a lot of stick on TikTok, because that's kind of my little thing over there. But what I will say is right now, I actually think if you go on a run of games, I mean, you've won 3 on the bounce. If you win 4 of your next 5, when you come into that game you play against Manchester City in March, that there will decide the title. If you go and beat Man City, I know we'll have Don Robbie coming out doing Captain America speeches again, but you might as well put his cape on this time. But you look at your run of games up to that City match, you got Arsenal, you got more home games in a way. You got Newcastle at home, Brentford at home, Chelsea at home, right? Sheffield United away, West Ham away. You should be winning all of those games. You go into that City game, you beat City, you go and win the title, because that will have such a mental block. So we're on such a good run. And then if City, well, we all know how good they are at the moment. If they beat you, that will be the turning point for me.
Wow. Look at that. You need to get Henry in the dressing room, Lee. Do you know what I mean?
No, right. Like, listen, I'm agreeing with what he's saying here. I think that's why Sunday's so massive for us. We've got to go there and win that game. If we go and win that game,
West Ham is a bit of a bogey for you boys.
Yes, it is. It's a tough. I think it's
they're becoming a bogey team, aren't they? They are.
Yeah, it's our toughest game in that run up until, because I don't think that we'll be playing Chelsea now. I honestly don't. But I think if you look at it like, Newcastle, as tough as that will be is a home game. Like Burnley and Sheffield United, if you're going to be looking to win titles, you can't drop points against teams like that. Brentford at home, you think that we'll win that one. The one that looks really like a the alarm bells is Sunday, and especially after getting a great result against West Ham. Everybody's now cock-a-hoot in the Arsenal fan base, believing that we can do it. We need now to just make sure that grows and not be taken a little knock again. Like, you know, I'm not 100% confident in this one, Dan. I was against Liverpool, as you well know. Like, I did think that we win this one. I think that the way Moyes sets up, the way West Ham play against us, I think is one of those games which can cause us a few problems. The way that it sets up, you know,
the crowd as well will be right up.
Yeah, it's not the greatest place to go and play football. Like, if I'll be honest. And also the way that they're played, you know, that we have to be fast and energetic. We were the ones that's going to have to set the tempo. They're just sitting and look to us on the break. And when they've done it twice now, they've done it home and away to us. And then when they've got their chances, they've took them, like, you know what I mean? So I disagree with that they were woeful at United. I thought that they had chances in that game.
Bowen's got to score that, man. He missed a sitter, Bowen.
Yeah, Emerson missed a sitter as well, like, you know. Yeah. And I think that, and then just as he misses that sitter, they go up the other end and score. Man United took their chances at the right time and were more, you know, like, what's the word, more ruthless than West Ham, when West Ham have really been in that ruthless state. They've took their chances. So listen, I'm not underestimating this West Ham team. I just feel that if we can get ourselves over this one and get the 3 points, listen, I don't care how we get it, if we play well or not. I know, look, listen, we played fantastically well on Sunday, and it makes it, as long as we get those 3 points against West Ham, I'll be happy, because I know that this is going to be a very, very tough game for us over this month's period of games. If we can get the result against them, I think it puts us in a good position. Not to say win the league, but go on a good run.
The only thing with your fixture list is obviously if Chelsea beat Leeds, you don't have a game for 20 days.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe they'll pop off to Dubai again or something.
You got to get a few friendlies in there, because you play Chelsea on the 31st of March and Porto on the 12th of March. Man City in between have 2 games, because they'll still be in the FA Cup and they play Brighton in the league, so they'll be fresh as daisy.
Yeah, I wonder what they would do about that if that does happen, because, you know, obviously, like, it's difficult because you've got that week off or whatever. But even though we ain't got 2 weeks, it is international break. It's not like these players are not going to have a game. They're like, you know, they'll all be playing some sort of games. Now, these March ones as well are friendlies, guys. They're not, you know, proper international games. They're actually friendlies. I think one of them's against Brazil, I'm pretty sure. So, you know, it's one of those games when everybody's going to be like chopping and changing. So I don't know how Arsenal are going to approach this the week before that. Like, will he just give them a few days off and then go off? Or I think it's a really a strange situation we could find ourselves in there. Like, you know, come on, Leeds is what I'm saying.
Yeah, man, I'd say Leeds been winning that game any day of the week, man. And but listen, I think they're kind of, Leeds are looking. To be fair, they're never going to chuck away cuts, but Leeds are in a position where they're really trying to get themselves back up, aren't they, to the Premier League? So sometimes those sort of clubs, they look at it and go, sacrifice one, get yourself up to the Prem. Do you know what I mean? But listen, Chelsea should win that game. Let's be real. Like, they shouldn't be losing to Leeds without being.
But I'll tell you what, though, Dan, you saying that, like, and I agree with what you say there. But Leeds were in Plymouth, gone to extra time and still won that game. You know what I mean? They didn't chuck it in and put players on towards the end to win that game, knowing that they'll probably be playing Chelsea or Aston Villa in the next round. They've not looked at it and gone, do you know what? We ain't going to win the next round. If he was going to sack it, you'd have probably sacked it there. So. I don't know, you know. Listen, I think Chelsea will be favourites, and I think that, you know, I think that, you know, N17 Gunners saying it, Dubai. I think like trip part 2. I think they could be going back out there for another little while.
Go back out there, yeah.
Yeah, I think they could be going back out there. A little Emirates flight back out there. I think, like, you know, for 3 or 4 days. I reckon they will. Be interesting to see what they're going to do.
Well, it will actually be interesting to see what happens. This one makes me laugh. From Go said, Henry, would you go vegan if it meant Spurs win the league? Henry would do a lot if Spurs win the league.
Listen, you don't want to know some of the things I would do, mate. I mean, I can't say I'm on here for certain reasons, but more than vegan, mate. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely, man. Listen, lads, before we go into some kind of finals for the weekend coming up, this blue cards business I want to touch on quick. what the hell is going on? Like, for me, we can't even get yellows and reds right.
No.
Now we want to introduce another colour. They're looking at VAR. They're looking at all points deductions. I've just come off of my channel with some of the other lads who are supporting some of the sort of mid-table clubs and relegation battle clubs, and they're just like, I just don't trust any of this stuff. Like, blue cards, what constitutes a blue card then? Swearing at the ref? Is that a Simbin?
Yeah.
Like going into a tackle too hard and you're not quite sure, and it's between a yellow and
no
red.
more tactical
Simbin.
fouls.
What the
So
hell is it going to
any
be,
tactical
man? Like,
foul or dissent against the referee will be a blue card, which will be a 10-minute sin bin. Now, there's combinations. So you can have a yellow card and a blue card and stay on the pitch. But you can't have a blue card and a red card. And all it's doing is
that
giving
is
the
horrendous.
officials more power. That is all it's doing. So now, what annoys me is we can't get VAR right. We're the worst out of the top 5 leagues when it comes to on-field and VAR decisions. We've had more errors. I think Sky Sports come out and said we had 25, right? If it's going to be the exact same thing. If you're waiting 3 minutes to celebrate a goal in the crowd because you don't know if you can celebrate or not because you've got a decision, it's going to be the same with blue cards. We've got to check VAR because we don't know if it's actually dissent. You're then going to have to bring in lip readers to read what he's actually said to the ref. It's going to be subjective. It's going to be opinionated. And it's like having a cheeseburger, right? The best way to have a cheeseburger is cheese and the meat. When you start throwing in ketchup and mayo and onions and salad and tomatoes, you overcomplicate a simple thing. It's a simple game, 11 versus 11. Now you've got VAR. Now you've got goal line technology. Now you've got VAR headsets on refs. Now the referees from next season will have to address the fans if a decision is what's the word? If a decision is controversial. Now we're adding so much in. We're turning into an American sport. No offense to the Americans, but sooner or later you're going to have adverts halfway through a game on the telly. That is the way we're going.
It's true. It's true.
It's money motivated now. You can't.
It's not for me.
You can't go to a game and have a player sitting there for 10 minutes. It's not rugby. Rugby's a much slower sport. You got scrums every 5 minutes. Football is end to end. Imagine having a Simbin in a boxing match. Yeah, sorry, mate. Can't do this round. I've got to take 5. It's absolutely insane.
It is mad. And do you know what, right? Like, I'll bring you in, Lee, in a minute. But what makes me laugh is we are actually going to go to a game. If this is going to happen, we are going to have to say to our loved ones and our mates, "Oh, what are you doing at the weekend? I'm going to the football. Oh, how long do you reckon you'll be?" Well, the game will be about 3 hours now because of VAR and blue cards and all that. We're not going to be able to say, we'll be back home. Adverts. Oh, then Beyonce and Jay-Z have to come on and do a turn for 15 minutes before we'll turn all that soon. I've got no doubt in my mind that money will take over that. But this blue cards business is an absolute joke for me because I don't even mind the fact that there's a Simbin. If someone swears at a referee and you go Simbin, that's cool. Like, if that's what you want to bring the rule in. But don't start. What is it going to constitute? Are we going to start twisting the rules again? Because they can't get what a handball is. They can't get the offside rule. They still don't know whether people should be booked or not. They still don't know whether people should be red carded or not when it goes in on their foot and part of their ankle. Now we're bringing in blue cards. I just can't believe this is being introduced.
Not an orange card either. We're always
exactly that.
That card should be an orange. Is it a red? Is it a yellow? But a 10-minute Simbin. Imagine if you're in... Right, if you swear at the ref because you think a foul's not gone wrong and you're in the 90th minute and there's 10 minutes added on and you go and concede in those 10 minutes. I mean, how controversial is that? Did he say it? Did he not say it? Does that mean the referee's got to come out after the game and say, Harry Maguire called me a whatever, he was sent off? What are we doing? It's a simple game. We're overcomplicating it now.
We are ruining it. We are ruining it now.
Yeah. And it's professional football. Like, listen, they do the sin bins in like football now, don't they? Like, you know, at grassroots level, they do it. You know what I mean? And the thing is with it, you know, and I do say that I think it's brought into to actually, like, you know, protect the referees a little bit more. Like, you know, if you actually send, you know, instead of sending somebody off, you're actually giving them a little bit of time to cool down and things like that. And I understand that rule is for just what they're saying, swearing and all that. But listen, professional footballers right now, you think to yourself, right, if you're clean on goal, right, if you're clean through on goal, well, I better not bring him down because I'm going to get sent off. Now they'd be just going, right, well, I'll take the 10 minutes now. You know what I mean? Like, you got a chance of scoring. I'm taking the 10 minutes. There's always that little bit of thing now. Do I take him out? And I'm not only do I miss this game, I'll get banned for the next. All of a sudden, they're just going, right, I'm taking him out 10 minutes. There'd be rugby tackles going on and things like that. Like, it's just a ridiculous rule. It's professional football. And at the end of it, listen, some rules have been brought in football that are good. You know what I mean? I remember looking back in it when the pass back rule, that was when I was playing like a good level. I think, I'm never going to. It was the best rule probably brought into football, if I'll be honest, you know. And they've changed rules and everything there. But the rules over the last sort of 4 or 5 years have ruined football. Not just the VAR, the handball decision. You know what I mean? Well, I played football, never had no controversy with handball. Never. There was never no controversy with handball. Now it's every week. It's scandalous. So I think that, you know, they've got to be out. And if they start adding Simbins into it, I'm worried that I'm losing my love for the game now, as it is with the you know, even the game against Liverpool. You know what I mean? You know, it come up, didn't it? Like Saka, like, you know, checking offside. And he's thinking, oh my God, like, you know what I mean? I don't want it no more. And I think somebody said in the chat or something I was reading online or something, like, you know, what you watch a championship game, there's no VAR in it. It's a good watch. It's a good watch. You know what I mean? And like, you know, so that's it. Like, please do not bring that in. I'll beg of them. Like,
they're bringing it in, and they're going to trial it in the FA Cup next season.
I hope it's absolute shambles. Mind you, if it's a shambles, they'll probably say, we'll learn from this. We'll get it right. This is what we need to do. I'm sick and tired of it, but to be honest with you, it really is crazy. Listen, to close the show, we've obviously got the football that continues at the weekend. Not going to do predictions, me and Lee, because we've got a preview for it tomorrow night with Lawless. But Henry, how do you see this Arsenal-West Ham one game, mate?
Arsenal-West Ham. I think you'll break the duck and get a win. I'm going to go 1-0 Arsenal. I think you'll set up a little bit more pragmatic and say, look, West Ham, come on to us. And with Martinelli and Saka and whoever goes up top, I think it'll all be about getting a professional performance. Don't go gun-ho. Let's go and win 3 or 4-0 and it doesn't come out and West Ham score from a set piece and you've had the stuffing knocked out of you. I think it'll be a professional performance. I'm going to go 2-0, actually. I think you'll win 2-0. It'll all be about getting that clean sheet, build momentum for you lot, and then just keep on going. Try and win as many foot matches as you can. What I will say, though, is if West Ham get an early goal from a set piece, that plays right into David Moyes' hands. If you come on to them, and we know West Ham are a counter-attacking team, they've got Kudus back. I believe they've got Paqueta back as well, which is a game changer.
I don't know. I'm hearing he might still not be ready, but I'm not sure.
I reckon he'll play some minutes. He won't start the full 90, but Kudus is back now. Bowen, obviously, he's got a fairly good record against you. If they do score early, it will be a very interesting game. But overall, I think you win 2-0.
Interesting. What about yourself? You've got Brighton at home, yeah?
Yeah, that'll be a great game for the neutral because it's two teams who can't keep clean sheets and two teams who score goals. That it wouldn't surprise me if that was 4-4 because you never know what Brighton team's going to turn up. Is it a Brighton who beat Tottenham 4-2 and beat Palace 4-1, or is it a Brighton who loses 4-0 to Luton? And it's the same with Tottenham. Is it going to be the Tottenham that beat Newcastle 4-1 or lose 4-1 to Chelsea? They're two teams that are so inconsistent, it genuinely could be a 4-4 game. That all being said, I think Tottenham will win. We've got to win now. Son will want to put the South Korea early exit in the semi-finals behind him. We've actually got a clinical finisher now. Richarlison's on, I think he scored 9 goals in his last 7 games. I think Tottenham will win 3-2. It'll be a very interesting game now.
Yeah, I think Tottenham will win 3-1. I do. I think Tottenham will beat Brighton. I just don't understand what Brighton you're going to get. A bit like you just said, Henry. Like, I have no idea. They're either going to come up and turn it on. You think, Christ, Brighton are back. And then the next game, they'll probably go lose to Burnley. Do you know what I mean? They're like that. I don't get Brighton this season. But, Lee, how do you see this one going?
I'll see like that as well, Dan. 3-1 to Spurs. I think that Spurs will win this comfortably.
Yeah, it's interesting with Brighton, isn't it? I mean, a lot of people in the chat saying 3-3, 2-2, Henry. They're going for the goals, mate, like you. But
it'll be a great. If you're a neutral fan, if you're an Arsenal or Chelsea fan, you're gonna want to watch that because that will be an entertaining game. The only problem is it's a flipping 3 o'clock kickoff.
3 o'clock kickoff, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, see what happens. Listen, we're going to stop it there because Lee's got to go over to Big Six now. So make sure you go and follow Lee over there. He's going to be there talking to Tobes. So that'll be fun, Lee.
Yeah, I'll enjoy that.
And the other guys, of course. Henry, big up yourself, man. How can people follow you, brother? And what you got coming up?
Yeah, just Henry Wright TV. You can check out the merch on henrywrighttv.com. Coming up will be, we've got it in multiple colours. If you can't see what Big Angie's doing, you can F off down the Emirates. Got that. There'll be lots of content coming out the next couple of days. We just hit 20,100, so we're doing reasonably well now. We're steaming our way towards, I want to get to 25k soon. But yeah, just Henry Wright TV. That'd be great. And obviously, thanks for having me on as well. It's a pleasure as always.
Always a pleasure, Henry. Always a pleasure.
And it'll be the only game this season I'll be cheering on West Ham. So,
I hate West Ham as well, don't you, to be fair? But
I can't stand them.
Yeah,
I want you both to lose.
Yeah, I think we're quite like that as well. But anyway, listen, big up to everyone. Make sure you do us a favor and smash the like button. Make sure that you subscribe. Do appreciate it. I missed a super chat here, haven't I? I missed a super chat. Yeah, sorry, there's a couple of super chats. There we go. This last one here, that was the one I missed. Did that one, hang on. Did the Harry Kane versus Haaland? Kane will definitely be more goals and assists, which Henry said earlier. Arsenal should have had 3 clean sheets in the last game. This one was quickly one for you, Henry. Henry, how would you feel if United finished above you? 6 points, ain't that much, and you guys still have to play each other? I think you'll be all right.
I don't think we have got to play them. We beat them 2-0 and we drew 2-2 at their ground. No, we haven't got to play them.
Yeah. You ain't got to play them, have you? Yeah.
I'll be absolutely fuming if Man United finish above us. You know, Max Branning, Eric 10 games has been as inconsistent as ever. I'll be very annoyed if Man United finish above us. Very, very annoyed. And the narrative will be, but it's your first season. But Man United are toilet. Don't let these 3 games and Rashford coming back and Luke Shaw actually being a good footballer again. Don't let these 3 games they've just won for you. They are still terrible.
Fair play to you, bro. Fair play to you. Listen, make sure you go follow Henry Wright TV and get him up to 25 subs. Make sure you sub to us as well. Make sure you come over to Football's 12 Man. Do the same for myself. And we'll see you next time, people. We're out of here. Peace.